Supers to the Super Joe Pardo Show. This is another Biz Coach Reacts video. This time it's Bar Rescue Season 1, Episode 3, The Shabby Abbey. But before we get started, I need you to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm so we can get this video in front of more entrepreneurs like yourself. Now, let's get started.
Last year, more than 5,000 failing bars nationwide closed their doors for good. If things don't change soon, legendary Chicago landmark, the Abbey Pub in Chicago, Illinois, will become just another statistic. 24 years ago, Irish immigrant Tom Looney and his family bought the Abbey, an Irish pub and music venue. With Tom's son Pat running the bar as general manager for more than 15 years, the Abbey became a hotbed for up-and-coming bands.
We were very popular back when we opened. We were doing $50,000 weeks, and things were going well.
But 3 years ago, Pat pursued his dream and became a fireman, leaving his brother Tom Jr. to quit his job and take over as general manager.
I'm an electrician by trade, so I didn't have a lot of experience as far as being a manager goes, and I just had to, rise to the occasion.
Under Tom, the Abbey sales plummeted.
That's always rough when you have, family members and one's like, I did this for 15 years. It was great. But I always wanted to do this other thing. And I'm going to run out of time to do it because I can't do it as a retired, old man from, bar life. So that's, awesome. Kudos. Hats off to Pat for being able to walk away from the bar. It does stink for Tom. Maybe they should have considered selling it at that point, right? But I mean, hats off to Tom as well for trying to make something out of nothing.
Been hurting. Sales have been down. Our volume now might be 10,000 a week.
Everything is falling apart. The bar is a mess, and nothing gets fixed. And I'm really frustrated.
Now, with revenues at an all-time low, Tom Sr. and his wife Bridget would like to retire, and tensions have begun to rise between the two brothers.
I needed some help in the end.
Okay, I understand, but you're admitting that you have no experience and you hire someone with less experience.
There is a lot of fighting, I guess, between us.
We can't agree on this color. Excuse my French.
The Looney family is just 3 months away from losing their family business forever. So they've agreed to pull back the doors, bust open the books, and make a call for help.
It's a shame because if no one actually wants to be there at that point, then they shouldn't have let it get to that point. They should be trying to sell it. Also, shout out to Kid Koala being, playing there back in, when was this, 2011? Big fan of his.
Bar rescue. Running a bar is not just the height of the. No one.
I don't embrace
Cheers, John.
I believe that you
No nonsense.
Come on now.
Money pit. Chicago, Illinois is the third largest city in the U.S. Sitting in the northwest part of the city is the neighborhood of Irving Park. Irving Park is home to more than 58,000 people, the majority of which are young, single professionals with plenty of disposable income. In the heart of town sits the once legendary Abbey Pub. The bar is divided into two sections, the pub side and the music venue, separated by less than 10 feet. While most people go to the Abbey...
See, that should be a recipe for success there, right? You have both a pub and a music venue. At some point, they could have split it off and probably sold one of the sections to make it more manageable, especially for somebody who didn't have the experience coming into this and was an electrician. No hate on Tom, but he obviously, this wasn't his thing, so he went in a different direction. Maybe because Pat, took over out of the gate and ran with it.
For concerts, the vast majority of them never enter the bar, and when there's no concert scheduled, the bar is mostly empty. Bar expert John Taffer has been called by the Looney family to help save the bar they've owned for more than 20 years.
Better day in paradise, kids.
Before going to the Abbey, John and his wife and bar recon specialist Nicole check out the bar's local competition. So they head to Chief O'Neill's, a successful Irish pub just a few blocks away.
This is one of the biggest competitors of the Abbey. I need to find out why people come here. What makes this a great competitor? Well, this is our competition. This is about the best in the area. That's why we're here. I want us to see what we're up against.
Great. Well, I'm glad I came here to see this.
So the Abbey...
That's a weird thing because he doesn't do that very often. I don't think in all the episodes I've watched, I think this may be only three times or something that he's gone to a competitor's bar to sit down and do some recon. I think that if you're John Taffer, you already know what makes a successful bar, right? That's how you got to the point of having your own TV show. So I don't see what he really was looking to learn by going somewhere else to eat.
is owned by the Looney family. I'm going to send you in there.
Okay.
Get me the customer perspective. And as you're doing that, I'm going to stay here and look at this operation. I'm sending Nicole over to the Abbey because she's a girl. She's a lot prettier than I am, and people will talk to her. But she's going to watch management.
Sir, she is a lady. I think you meant to say.
Where they go, what they do. Are they attentive? Are they engaged? Or are they sitting by themselves, not engaged?
Now that Nicole has the information she needs, she heads over to the Abbey to get the customer's perspective a half hour before a scheduled concert. In addition to the cameras that have been following the bar's staff, hidden cameras have been placed around the bar to capture Nicole's recon.
I wonder if the concert
When I walk into
is the
pub
Kid
side of the
Koala
Abbey, the
concert.
first thing I notice is that the floors are filthy. There's stains everywhere and there's trash lying around. And subconsciously,
Ugh.
that makes people not want to order food. The place looks dirty.
Yeah.
The food is going to be dirty.
Well, you combine that with going to the bathroom and there being a disaster like we saw in the last episode of Bar Rescue. Like that's not a good sign for anybody.
How are you? Good, how are you? I'm John.
John Brendan. Nice to meet you. Indeed.
Pleasure. This is a beautiful bar.
Thank you. Chief O'Neill's was rated the top pint of Guinness.
In that case, I got to try one.
Can I get you something?
Do you have a drink menu or something?
We don't have a drink menu that I can offer to you.
Okay. I noticed that there weren't any drink menus. I asked the bartender, and she said that there wasn't any. Having a menu promotes customers to buy the most expensive drinks in the place. Otherwise, they're just ordering a cheap beer or an easy cocktail.
You have a nice spirits collection as well.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
very
that's
much. We do a lot
that
of
really
whiskey tasting.
lowers the experience of the customer, but also lowers the bar of how much you're going to spend, which really is a shame for the bartenders and the wait staff, who's depending on tips based on that.
Things and whiskey events.
This is a great bar. They have the best pint of Guinness in the city of Chicago. And their spirits program is also wonderful. This is a great experience.
There we go.
Oh, that's fun. A little strong. This bartender is totally overpouring. And when a bartender overpours, exponentially, they're
Well, she
losing
didn't seem
big
to have a
money every night.
problem. She didn't seem to have a problem going at it harder, even after knowing that it was overpoured, and saying that it was strong.
In over a year, that adds up to thousands and thousands of dollars. I have no doubt that that's one of the biggest problems here at the Abbey Pub. What's that?
Well, so you combine the overpouring, you combine the not having an easy way to upsell the drinks, and you have a recipe for disaster where nobody makes money, and quality probably lacks.
Special today.
What's the special?
Beef tenderloin.
While I'm sitting at the bar, I notice Tom Jr., the general manager, sits down with a plate of food.
A half
General
hour
manager
before
shouldn't
the
be sitting there
concert,
having dinner like he's a customer. He should be managing, making sure his bartenders aren't overpouring, greeting customers, not sitting down having dinner, taking one of the best seats in the house.
Yeah, that's the thing. So like part of it is like, well, hey, at least the food's good enough for him to eat. If he's gonna eat it, I guess I could order it too. But that's not, you want customers to be giving that experience to other customers. Oh, what are they having? I'll have that too. Not you as the general manager sitting there to eat at whenever the concert's going to start
Great
in a half
neighborhood
hour.
bar. Excellent service. Brendan was terrific. His passion is evident throughout this entire bar.
Where
it's
Brendan
clear
is
as clear
today.
to me.
While John is enjoying the drinks, atmosphere, and service at Chief O'Neill's, Nicole heads over to the music venue that has made the Abbey famous.
Well, that's not Kid Koala.
I go next door to see the girl who's performing, and she's actually really good. There's a completely different crowd in there. The place is packed tonight. They're losing big money by not getting the customers from the venue side to come in to have dinner before concerts on the pub side. It makes the pub a total
Absolutely.
waste of space.
With the recon
It does, yeah, that's the thing. Is like how it starts to sink because they're only going to sell so many drinks there on that side, and if they serve food on the clubs, the venue side. But the opportunity is a huge waste there to not have promotions and well, actually, you don't even need promotions. Just clean up your bar. Just like clean it up, make sure it works and functions, and have an opportunity for people to have some great, awesome drinks that they can order off of a menu that they can't think of themselves.
complete, Nicole meets with John to discuss her customer experience at the Abbey. It's critical John knows all of the bar's glaring problems so he can get to work turning the business around.
So how'd you do?
Pretty good. There were no specials, no drink specials. There wasn't a menu.
No drink menu.
No drink menu at all.
What'd you have to drink?
I ordered an Irish coffee. It was really strong.
So they're like doing a serious pour.
Yes, she definitely overpoured.
That in and of itself could cause them to lose money. Let's talk about management.
He just sat at the bar like as if he was a customer.
I've never seen managers of a successful bar sit up front in the bar and eat.
The concert side was actually okay. There was a really good band playing tonight.
So they missed that opportunity. They probably had an opportunity to sell more to the people they had. They're not promoting the bar.
Absolutely. I mean, look, just getting people in the door at any venue is hard, right? Whether it's a restaurant, any brick and mortar business, like even just a website, like getting people to that space is hard. So they are not capitalizing nearly enough on the fact that they have people actively coming to them for a reason. And it's like they're just dropping the ball.
Concert to the bar, almost like one has nothing to do with
I also wonder what the competition is like where they are for other concert halls. Like, are there other venues that they're competing with, or do they pretty much have a captive market with that venue? Because if they do, that explains a lot. That explains a lot. So that venue might still be dirty and underprepared and underrun, and yet, you know, they're able to capitalize enough to at least keep it kind of floating, just based on the fact that there's no competition for that specific area, which very well may be.
Looking at the signs all over, this place is a disorganized mess before you even walk through the front door. Okay, I'm gonna go to it. So thanks, it was a good one. I'll see you later.
You go sit down, have dinner with Tom.
I can't wait to get in there and go to work. I also can't wait to meet the people who destroyed that legacy.
Now that John is aware of many of the Abbey's shortcomings, he can meet with the Looney family and get started bringing their bar back to profitability.
Hi, I'm John Taffer.
John Taffer, pleasure to meet you. Tom, this is my brother Patrick, by the way.
Oh, hey, Patrick, John Taffer.
He just happened to be
I
there.
understand you guys are in trouble.
Well, we are a little bit in trouble. I mean,
A
we're
little bit in trouble or a lot of trouble?
A lot of trouble.
Okay, well, let's be honest with each other.
Okay,
We're in a lot of trouble.
Yes, we are. Well, we are.
Get this family together. I'd like to sit in the office.
Okay.
I'd like to have a conversation for.
See, I think that also goes to show something else, that like you can be in a lot of trouble and you still have people at your bar. You still have people at your venue. I mean, it's just, I wrote a book called Sales Won't Save Your Business. And the whole thing is you can have people there, but it doesn't mean that you're going to still be able to continue to do business at a high level, and, you know, high profit, high level. So, high revenue. So that this is just goes to show you, like, even when this show was just getting started and no one knew who the show never aired before, no one probably even knew who John Taffer was. You have, you know, you still have people at the place, you know, and it's not because there's TV crews there. So things can go south really fast.
After meeting the Looney family, John gathers
Even
them in
with
the
sales.
office to confront them with the realities of their failing business.
Okay.
So you got to
I'm gonna
control
say
that
right from the
overhead.
get-go, this place looks like a disorganized hole. Is that a fair statement?
Oh,
Disorganized.
hold on a second. There we go. Yeah, a little bit. But I'll tell you, like, growing up in my family's business, like, this is not an uncommon sight. Like, I can't deal with that. I like organization. I like making sure everything has a place, and I know where that place is. But, you know, I'll tell you, working with people in my family who don't feel that way, they're like, I know my stacks of paper, and I know what's in that stack of paper, and I know, you know, all that. It might look unorganized, but it definitely is. It might be organized, just not, you know, a cluttered desk, uncluttered mind kind of thing. But that's like that folder over there is like totally falling over. It's not organized enough, in my opinion.
Hole. Is that a fair statement? Who's running this place now?
But it would be myself.
So this is your hole.
Correct.
Are you proud of that? 'Cause I don't see anything to laugh about, to be honest with you. I mean, how much money are we losing? Is this a laughing matter?
No, it's not.
Okay, well, it's not funny to me.
My wife and I are not here to the level we used to be. We'd be the first to say that I haven't got all the answers. So that is a big drawback.
What do you think's wrong with this place?
In the short term, it's got to be the staff. It's trying to rope in the staff.
We cannot hold any of the staff accountable at all.
No, it starts at the management, and it starts with you. And then you get the right staff, or you have the staff that you have. If the staff is willing to say on camera that they are, you know, there's stuff that's broken and it's not getting fixed and it's super frustrating, then guess what? They probably have said it to you too.
From the top.
That's correct. Tom Jr. blamed the staff, and Patrick rightfully said it's not the staff, it's management. 14 years ago,
it
this
starts
was a
up
great
top.
venue. It had a phenomenal reputation.
I don't want to have to say it's all his fault, but back in those years, I was still running the bar.
So you ran the bar when it was successful?
That's my point. You have been really sidetracked for so many things. He has 3.
Why is our breaker panel open? like why is that not? Why would you not close that? And like, what's going on with the wall behind him where like paint's falling off?
Kids He's a fireman for the city of Chicago.
So life took over.
When things were going well, I mean, I took a lot of pride in it. I was proud of what all of us were doing. We brought my brother on board. I would say we're down maybe 50% of where we were a few years back. You know, I have electrical background. That's my background. I was a fly on
So
the wall
you should
there.
know that the panel breaker behind you should be closed.
Saw all the great bands. I love this place, and I'm doing my best.
How's that working out for you?
I think for myself, it's coming along.
How do you think that's working out? Is this place better than it was?
No.
I sent my wife in here, who was a spy, sitting next to you. And what do you think
How many breaker panels are gonna have open?
you saw when she was here, Tom?
I was sitting at the bar, facing the room, and keeping an eye on the entire room while I was having my
You
dinner.
know what? Your BS doesn't work. I don't want excuses. You were on the floor tonight, sitting at the bar, eating your dinner, during prime time, during dinner hour, and during happy hour. Talk to me.
My brother and myself are kind of looking at this thing in different ways. I think he's thinking that we're in a better shape than we are, and I think he might not be able to be the head of this organization. We might have to make a change there.
Okay, here's the deal. The next 5 days, I'm in charge of this business. You work for me.
Okay.
Fair enough.
What really upset me more than anything is the fact that my brother, my mom, and my dad bust their ass for life, and then now here I am, reduced to John having to bail us out. That sucks.
I have a 6-step process that I'm going to...
It does suck, but at least you have the opportunity to have this happen, right? And that's, that's where it's like you got to get the pride out of the situation. Also, if they were worried about the photo behind them, they should have probably just removed the photo rather than like, we'll just blur it out in post. Like, this is another thing to have to do. I wonder what that was a picture of. That just kind of disheveled there in the
take you guys through.
folder.
One, I wanted to get some numbers to read and study tonight, because I'd like to see the last 3 months.
Is he sleeping?
Because I'd like to
It looks like the
see
dad
the last
like
3
had his
months,
eyes closed for a while
one
there.
at a time. I will go through those. I'll make my notes, and we can sit down and go through the numbers tomorrow. Before we start that, I got to figure out who the heck in this family I can work with that can get things done. Can you get things done?
I'd like to think I can. Yes, sir.
I don't know. I think we have to review what we're doing from the top. I mean, I think there might be a 7th step.
Coming up on Bar Rest.
Well, that
This is just saying to me you want to fire your brother?
We need to make a change.
oh well.
When I was finished, Patrick looked at his brother, Tom, and said, there's a 7th step. I sensed he was getting rid of Tom. I got to crack through and really find out what Pat is thinking tomorrow. I want the staff here tomorrow for a full staff meeting. They need to hear you say, Tom, this business is in trouble.
We have to decide who's going to take the reins of this place. And if we look in the mirror and we say, hey, with my brother's inexperience, we might have to make a change there. And that's something that we have to look
And
at.
inexperienced, like I forget how long he has been there in charge, but like, I think it was a couple of years. So, okay, you don't have the experience, but like, what are you doing to make yourself a better manager? What are you doing to take yourself out? Are you watching videos? Are you watching Bar Rescue? Are you watching this video right now? I mean, there's so many things that you could do to educate yourself in the time between doing things that it doesn't need to be that complicated. From books to videos to podcasts to TV shows, like there's just so much media out there that you can just tap into. Sure, these TV shows are reality TV and it's not all realistic. But I think, watching back at these early episodes shows that like before they figured out the real formula of the mechanics of the show, that there is real, some reality to it to a certain extent, and actually more probably than now, where it's all yelling and flipping tables and stuff like that. So I think that if you are serious about the idea, if you're watching this video, and you're serious about making a change in your business, then hey, reach out to me at Super Joe Pardo or go to superjoepardo.com, and we can help make your business profitable, more profitable than it is, and grow more rapidly.
Last night I went through their
4 days
financials, and they were
to
actually worse than I
relaunch.
thought they would be. For every $1 in food sales that they do, it costs them $1.03. We should stop selling food. We'd make more money.
Yes, and that's what I always say. Like, sales won't save your business. You can make all the sales, you can make $1 million in sales, but if you have your costs dialed in wrong, then you're gonna lose money. Like, simple as that. and in some cases it'll be quicker than others. $1.03, a 3-cent loss on everything, it just bleeds out over time, versus like 58 cents or 53 cents over is going to go a heck of a lot quicker. And maybe then you'll say, hey, we're not just skating by, or if we mess up some of the numbers in the books, then it's like, oh, we kind of are breaking even. It's like, no, you're not breaking even, you're sinking, you're on the Titanic.
First of all, my name is John Taffer. I've opened, touched, managed bars all over the world. I'm going to do over the next 5 days what it normally takes me 3 months to do. I have no time to play around. Tom, come on. I'd like you to tell the team how serious this is.
We're here.
Can I just go? So what normally takes him 3 months to do, for this TV show, he's doing it in 4 or 5 days. Now, I've read that the show actually takes it goes over a longer period of time. I don't know if that's now. Now it seems like within 2 days they're relaunching, because they just bring in, like, they throw everything in the kitchen sink at the bar to get it done. But I kind of, it's hard to imagine that in 4 days they could do what they could do in 3 months, even with a team standing by. I don't know. I'm not sure what to believe, but check it out for yourself and see what you think.
Because the Abbey's actually in some dire straits, and that we have some serious issues here that we need to straighten out, or we're not going to make it.
What happens if we don't fix it?
I think that the writing's on the wall, that we're done. So
We're done.
Yeah, we're done.
People lose their jobs, Pat, right?
To hear the bottom line dropped on us like that was a shock. Everybody's job is on the line.
So I have a responsibility to fight for this place, because if I don't, everything you guys have worked for all these years goes up in smoke.
Absolutely.
And you guys lose your jobs. When people in business don't have the courage to deal with their problems don't get solved. I have to change something and quick. What are we about?
So it's right. It's easy to talk about the problems. It's hard to actually get the solutions. And then the other problem is that he doesn't mention there, but I'm sure would back me up on, is the culture of it all, right? Like, the longer people have been there and they've been adjusted to that culture, whether good or bad culture, it makes it more difficult for people to really want to, like, jump in and go along with these changes. So, coming forward and saying, hey, things really aren't great, is a first step. But then you got to back that up with some real change, with some real action, because otherwise it's just like, it's all talk and no bite, It's not gonna go well.
Music.
Music! We're not getting people in here before the events like we should. We're not getting them in here after the events like we should. We're not creating any excitement on this side of the building for what's going on over there.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to hear from somebody else, but the buck stops at me, and I believe that it is my fault.
I got to find accountability here, because I got to fix this. When you sit there looking as if you know, because you've identified the problems, that isn't a manager. That's just somebody with eyes and ears.
One of the main things that John was definitely right about is that the problems stem from the top. There's nobody to blame, but my brother, it's not working.
A manager fixes problems, doesn't just see them.
Tom lacks direction. It's evident. It affects our profitability in a negative way.
We don't know who to go to. Nobody knows what's going on. Do we talk to Tom? Do we talk to this person? He says, go to the next person. Nobody knows, and it's so frustrating.
So you don't have a boss?
It would be my responsibility.
Okay. You got to look into yourself and determine if you can even do this. Because I need somebody
If you
I can
wanna
work with who's
do it.
accountable, and I'm not sure if it's you.
John has his hands full trying to figure out if Tom is capable of effectively running the Abbey, so he's called in 2 experts to focus on getting the bar and kitchen up to speed. The first specialist is Peter O'Connor, Diageo's youngest master of whiskey in the U.S. His knowledge of premium whiskey will prove essential when creating a new cocktail menu for the Abbey. The second specialist is Chef Brian Duffy.
Hey,
who's
Brian
one of
Duffy.
the best Irish chefs in the country. Because he's opened dozens of profitable restaurants, Brian is the perfect person to turn the Abbey's kitchen around.
I'd like you to meet 2 very dear friends of mine and some of the best professionals in the world.
One of the Abbey's major problems is that it doesn't have a drink menu to prompt customers to buy premium cocktails. Diageo Master of Whiskey, Peter, tours the bar to see what other improvements are needed.
There's absolutely clean glass. Your sinks, no hygiene at all. Why have this? This is for a convenience store.
For cans.
In the center of the bar, there is a soda cooler. It makes no sense at all.
Someone's coming.
Yeah, why? I mean, so let's go back to that, right? So
Makes no sense at all.
so they got a Dr. Pepper.
There is a
They
soda
got a
cooler.
Dr.
It makes no
Pepper cooler here to hold their canned beer, which, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, if look, if you're trying to do something on the cheap, and this is what you have available to you, or you're able to get it for relatively cheap, right? Spend the money on some decaling, right? To decal it or black it out or something. Don't just, put it in like, it's all good. It's we're at a bar. No, it's not sending the right message. Like, if this, if you're at a point where it's like, I can't afford, a really nice one, or to redo the whole bar or something, like, we got to make it work, then at least do the extra step, get it decaled or wrapped, or, black it out somehow, like black, like black film tape or something.
Sense at all. Someone's coming through, they might be looking this way, bump, hit the door. Possible accident. So this definitely has to go.
Efficiency behind the bar is critical. It should only take 40 to 50 seconds for a bartender to serve a customer a drink. But cooler doors that swing into the bar slow the servers down and can be dangerous when the bar gets busy. Efficient bars use reach and coolers to avoid these problems, because every second wasted is $1 lost.
How much liquor do you put in a scotch and soda?
An ounce.
How much do you put in a scotch and soda?
I was told 1.5 ounces.
How much do you put in a scotch and soda?
3 shots.
One of the bartenders was serving 3 ounces when it should be only 1 ounce serve. That shows me the drink is walking out the door because they're overpouring.
Now that Peter has a sense of the overpouring and disorganization going on at the bar, Chef Brian Duffy meets with the Abbey chef, Greg, and Tom and Pat Looney to tour the kitchen.
I've opened many restaurants, everything from Irish pubs to fine dining, so I have the ability to be able to walk into a kitchen and just know exactly what's wrong within the first couple of minutes. But what is this right here?
This is the main action fridge.
Okay, so the problem that I see right off the bat is it tells me that it's out of order. It's telling me that I'm at 40 degrees. Okay, so I'm just going to scan directly into the box. So the back of my box is reading 51 degrees. If the Board of Health walked in here right now, they'd shut you down. You would not be able to serve food.
The optimum temperature range
that's
for any
terrible.
refrigerator is between 36 and 40 degrees Fahrenheit. With the Abbey's main fridge at 51 degrees, they are risking the health of every one of their customers.
Pull it right through, and that's what's in between my counters. So this is the stuff that's going to kill somebody.
That's terrible. That is terrible, and that is so disheartening to see, because you're just not getting a good cleaning in every day. Well, you should be cleaning every day, maybe deep cleaning every other day, like getting that kind of stuff cleaned out
Time a waitress comes
between
in
the
and stands here,
counters
wait
and
for
stuff.
food and puts her hand on there, and then reaches up and grabs a plate. These are the things that we have to
Gotta
look out for.
keep that
These
stuff
are the last
clean
stages
and find
before
those.
a restaurant just dies.
John and his experts have found some serious deficiencies on the Abbey's pub side.
I'd like to go look at the concert venue for a minute, and I'd like to take you with me, Pat.
But they soon
Wait, look a little disappointed there. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, you don't want to do this. This isn't. This is just like a hassle for you.
But they soon discovered that the music venue is in need of some major upgrades as well.
Pat, you guys use beer tubs?
Yeah, they're just kind of dated. You know what I mean?
We could get rid of some of the clutter, clean up the floor in here, make some technology improvements. We could bring this room a long way.
Sure.
Okay, I gotta ask you a question. Last night, Patrick said there's a 7th step, but never said what that was. I have to get Patrick to say how he feels, and we have to see if Tom keeps his job or not. What's the 7th step?
Well, I can't be back to working here 50 hours a week or whatever. I can't do it. Unfortunately, he's my brother. I love the man. But it wasn't fair. A guy that has not been in the business now to run a whole place like this, it wasn't fair on him. I would say he's not ready to run this place. That's what I think.
You have to have a family talk tonight.
Yeah, because I mean, for him, for John, it's got to feel pretty awkward. Like, obviously, he wants to exude the confidence, right? I mean, he has the knowledge and the experience to back all this up, but it's tough. It's tough getting people to go along with it. It's like, when you're filming this show that no one's ever seen before, like, are you concerned? Like, I wonder if it crossed John's mind, like, was he concerned that people weren't going to go along with this, and like, where was the TV show going to end up if they didn't, right? Like, this, I mean, there's been I think 1 or 2 episodes I can think of where he didn't redo the bar and he walked out on the situation that I can think of, but that was well after the 3rd episode of the show being filmed, right? So I think it's also it had to be nerve-wracking for him. I know it'd be nerve-wracking for me, taking all experience, and if I'm doing the top with Super Joe Pardo, like, and going in and they're like, well, I'm not really sure, I'm not really comfortable, blah blah blah. And it's like, the big thing that John has over their head, though, on top of the experience and the training and all that, is the upgrades, right? The money that he's going to affect. I mean, he's not pouring himself, but the sponsors are going to be pouring into this, no pun intended, into this bar.
Cocktail. We don't go like that. All that's doing is making noise. We shake it hard. Hands on both sides and good hard shake. Shaking is very important. It aerates it. It's going to expand it. The ice is going to dilute a little bit, so we should be able to fill the volume in the glass, okay?
Renowned bar expert John Taffer has discovered that the Abbey, the venue, and the pub side only fair to John, and his brother and ex-general manager Pat, or the family. Before bringing the Looney family together to discuss Tom's future as general manager of the Abbey, John and his experts get to work training the staff. Chef Brian Duffy starts by having the Abbey chef, Greg, prepare a few popular menu items so he can assess Greg's skills and determine what changes need to be made to the current recipes.
Everybody likes a shepherd's pie. Actually, not an Irish dish, an English dish.
That's something that hasn't changed, that has changed a little bit. Like, a lot of the newer episodes don't go into whether or not they're assessing the food, the chef. Though I guess a lot of the bars they go into don't really have a chef. It's just, like, oh, it's Cletus. He's the guy. He shows up. He makes the food when he decides to show up. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible. So this is our burger. Big seller. It's $5. It's just a pretty straightforward burger. Black Angus beef.
$5.
There's nothing that sets it apart. And if you're selling a $5 burger and that's all you're selling, we got a problem. I mean, you're talking about the beef alone is $3.20 a pound. You've got 8 ounces.
It's going out the door at 53%. There's a loss leader. Well, absolutely.
A loss leader is a popular menu item, intentionally sold at a low and unprofitable price in order to stimulate the sales of other more profitable items like cocktails. When labor cost is added to the burger's...
Well, cocktails that are on a cocktail menu that people can read and say, oh, yes, I want to buy that $8 drink. Though a $5 burger, I don't know, it still seems severely underpriced, even from 10 years ago standards.
Food costs. The Abbey spends more than $5 to make the burger. And because the bar doesn't have a drink menu to prompt customers to pay for premium cocktails, the burger isn't serving as a loss leader as intended. It's just a loss.
Yeah. No, it is just a loss. And what they should be doing is using that, like, normally, $10.99, normally $11.99. On certain nights that are slow, that you do the marketing, you make that okay. If I can get it, get people in for the $5 burger night, $5 burgers all night, and I'm not losing, I'm not making a ton of money on it. I'm making 5% on it or something on it. Like, well, then you can make that argument. Like, you get the drink menu in there, and you get people on those slow nights that you would have just been empty otherwise or close to empty.
Staple of any good pub. You can see all that white. It's freezer burned. It's really not a great thing. It's just kind of a bland, pretty simple, nothing to it fish. We need to create dishes. Somebody goes, oh my God, the greatest burger I've ever had. Every time they come in, we got to wow them.
Here's our menu, and this has no thought out process whatsoever. I mean, this is just gone. It's not even worth it. But the new menu we're going to put together has better quality ingredients. I'm going to show these guys different techniques on certain things.
I haven't seen him.
I think that people are going to come in and say, this is something that's exciting.
Good technique.
I haven't seen him in a new episode
lately. Salt, pepper, and
lately.
everything. Put on the grill the right way and all that stuff. All right, cool guys.
While Chef Brian works with the kitchen staff, Diageo Master of Whiskey Peter O'Connor is at the bar, testing the Abbey's bartenders to see if they can make simple cocktails.
I'd love you to make me a Sex on the Beach.
Vodka first.
And how much do you usually put in? Okay.
That use peach
she actually knew
schnapps,
something.
which over here. And then a little cranberry juice. Pineapple. Oh, got it.
All right. What I noticed there was you're going back and forth. You're going over there for cranberry juice. You're going over there for pineapple juice. Everything should be here. It's extremely important for the bartenders to actually make the drinks.
And that's why you need a bar, a menu, right? And a regiment that you can create right there at that station, so that people aren't going all over the place for the one bottle of pineapple juice.
Customers can tell their friends tomorrow, I had such and such cocktail in the Abbey that was made in front of them. The last thing to remember is the ounces, or the quantity of alcohol you're serving. It's an ounce serve, and that's it.
Consistent overpouring can dramatically affect a bar's bottom line. For example, let's say a 1 ounce drink costs a bar 70 cents. If the bartenders are overpouring by half an ounce, then every time a drink is poured, the bar loses 35 cents.
Yep.
A bar of the Abbey size should draw at least 300 people per night. And if each of these people has an average of 3 drinks, overpouring would cost the bar $315 per night, adding up to more than $114,000 per year.
I'm gonna meet with my
Yeah,
experts
I
and
mean,
see
it's just crazy. Like, you know, we don't think about things sometimes in terms of you know, pennies, but those pennies add up very quickly when you're talking about mass amounts of numbers of people. So it's really important to like get those, you know, get your costs dialed in, get your product and offer dialed in, and then be able to go to market with it in a way that isn't going to make you lose money every single time it's poured.
what
Like,
weaknesses are and what we have to do to
terrible.
strengthen our operations.
What do you think, Brian? They need to update the recipes. They're classic sellers, fish and chips, burgers. I mean, it's a basic burger that's not good.
What do you think of Greg? I sense you can pull it off, do you?
There's no doubt in my mind.
well, and in their defense, it's a basic burger that isn't good, but it's also sold for $5. So but given that the demographics have money, you know, young, disposable income, they shouldn't be selling it for $5. They should be making a better burger, selling it for $11, and then maybe have special nights where they discount that burger down if they need to when it on for slow times, or maybe they don't have concerts to help bring in, you know, pack people in before and after.
He's got a good pedigree. He can do it. But I just don't think that he's motivated. He needs motivation.
Talk to me, Peter.
Motivation is tough.
It's still report, which means
Motivation is so difficult when everything's like so, you know, it just becomes like a boulder. I say it all the time, boulder rolling down bearing down on you, right? And if you're not if you as the manager, you as the owner are not motivating and creating an experience, a culture of motivation, a culture of, you know, we get things done, things don't stay broken, things don't stay, you know, distraught looking, then it's just going to, you know, other people are going to feed in on that and be like, well, if he don't care, she don't care, why should I care?
that the customers aren't going to order as much as they should be, the profits aren't going to till like they should be, and, you know, the money's basically walking out the door.
They've accepted a lack of standards.
Absolutely.
We got to figure out a way to get management to manage it when we leave.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's my challenge.
After meeting with his experts, John meets with the Looney family to give them important information from his market research.
First, I want to start with this. Here's your bar. In this city, at this current time, you're on pace to make only about $500,000. That's pathetic for a place this size. At a minimum, this is a $2.5 to $3 million business, and you know it is.
Yeah, for sure.
This business has nothing to do with this business right now.
Right.
The Abbey is about music. I have to come up with a direction for the pub so it's linked to the rock and roll heritage and history of the Abbey. With the right dinner packages, I'll come here and eat.
Yeah,
I'll come there and go to the show.
Right.
That's where the money comes from.
Yeah.
Make sense? So linking the businesses, getting rid of the cooler, new menu, new concept, guys. It's a whole new world, and
Yes,
the Abbey
absolutely.
shines again.
Amen on that, brother.
So that's our plan. I have to sit with the family tonight, and we have to talk about the 600-pound gorilla in the room, which is Tom. Can he run this place or not? When I was sitting with you all last night in your office, Patrick grunted under his breath, and a seventh step. What is it?
I think we need to restructure, for sure, our management team going forward.
Are you saying to me you want to fire your brother? Is that what you're saying to me?
I'm saying that we need to make a change.
It was very difficult to tell him that I don't think he's the guy that can run this thing. I mean, that was hard.
So I sense a
Yeah.
little emotion in you.
That's, and it should be, right? If it's not, then you got a bigger problem there. Because the thing is it doesn't seem like the business has wedged itself between the family yet, which is great. Like there's so many times where a business will wedge itself in between the family, and people will part ways, and they just don't ever want to talk to each other again, and it's heartbreaking. It really breaks my heart. I've seen it. I've to a certain extent have experienced it for myself, and I want, you know, you to understand that, like, this is actually not unsalvageable. They're not yelling at each other. They're not pointing the finger at each other so much as it's just like, look, clearly we need to make a change here. And it's not that Tom can't do it. It's just will he do it?
I think anybody says that I'm not capable of managing Abbey Pub has underestimated me or does not know I can run this place.
Out of fairness to the family in the situation that we're in right now,
Yeah.
I believe that you could do this.
And also, I believe that you could do this. That's a line used all the time in the opening. I I think that Tom definitely can do it. I think that it also would be interesting to see what shape did he take over the bar in, because maybe, maybe Pat started to let things slide prior to like putting Tom in. And where was the training, right? If Pat had 15 years of experience plus his dad, why are they not doing enough to make sure that he's trained? Now, with that said, I've been on the receiving end of poor training from, an expert, or lack of training for an expert, and having to go and figure it all out on my own. It happens, but they're still there. Like, they're all there together, right? So do what they need to do. Lean on each other to get the information. It's not put the egos aside and make it happen.
If I can
for everybody's sake.
Focus on solutions, and checklists that you do every day. 5 things you have to do behind a bar every day. It's a start. Yeah, no question. And here's my thought. I'm gonna go talk about it for a couple minutes. This is not a normal situation where I can come in here and fire a manager. This is a family. Thank you. The family needs to discuss this and make this decision on your own.
We have to.
Well, yeah, what do we have to do? Let's talk about it, Pat.
And good on John for recognizing that.
I'd like to talk about this.
This is a huge change in behavior. This isn't like he's going to give me some lists and I'm going to be fine.
My brother, there's a big problem with detail and follow through. Before he even gives one thing a try, he wants something else. So focus is a big problem with him.
Pat, I think you are very delusional in what you think about.
Not at all.
You are. If the answer is that I shouldn't be the manager, then I will walk today.
You're getting all defensive.
No, I'm not getting defensive. You're not on the floor. I am the manager now, right? As we speak at the moment. Okay, then you'll have to listen to me. Well, I need help. Stop. Would you be quiet for a minute?
I don't really.
No, let me finish.
All right, let me just.
Don't cry, man.
If you don't think that your actions and things doesn't have to change, then you're wrong.
It's all edited, right? So I'm just curious what was said prior to, like, what was really said right prior to him saying that. I mean, it should be obvious to Tom that there's real problem here, and that he, to me, I'm all like, and maybe it's just me. I am always about, I don't need to be right. I need it to be right. We as a team, me as an individual, we need to figure out how to get it right. And it's not about somebody being right. It's about it getting right. So the business getting right, the bar getting right, your business getting right. Like, that's what it's really about.
During a meeting at the Abbey, Pat voiced his concerns to his family about his brother Tom remaining as general manager.
Pat, are you saying to me you want to fire your brother?
I'm saying that we need to make a change.
This is the family needs to
A suggestion of him helping us over the next few days, and I think that should be given a chance.
I'm all for it. Maybe he can turn around to make it work, but I think it is going to be very difficult.
Tom Sr. called me this morning to tell me that he wants to give Tom Jr. a shot. I'm at the Looney House because I wanted to meet them outside of the Abbey.
Hello, welcome to my humble abode.
Aww.
I have to come up with a way to elevate Tom. I sense that if I give him just a few tasks, I bet I can get him to accomplish them. Otherwise, he's never going to accomplish anything. I believe that if I could put you on a plan with specific objectives, we will all feel a lot better about where we're going. 1, I want you to take the showroom, get rid of the shabbiness, and get the darn thing cleaned up. 2, I want you to go into the kitchen today, and I want you to really get familiar with what they're cooking and what they're doing, because we're implementing some new programs and prepping and things. For the relaunch night, I want you to confirm and make sure we have a great band, but I want to know that you're handling it, you're managing it, and that you can look me in the eyes and say, John, it happened, and we're on. All right? And then the last item that I want you to do today is just general cleanup and organization of the office.
Today. You want
Today. Yes, exactly correct.
There's a lot of things to do in one day, John. But I think the importance there is, and he definitely, I don't think he's utilized. I think he's underutilized this, at least what they've shown in the show. Having clear, a clear to-do list enables people to feel accomplished, even if he only gets 3 of those 4 or 5 things done, or 4 or 5, 4 of the 5 things done. It just gives him the ability to get the confidence, right? Like, you get that stuff cleaned up, you get the office cleaned up, you spend 30 minutes in the kitchen and say, hey, look, I want to check out, what are you guys doing? Don't turn it into an hour and a half there, but just get familiar with what they're doing and how they're setting up the kitchen. Those are the things, like, okay, so now these are actionable steps, just like you need actionable steps in your business. And it was the other, if you're saying things about your business and you're like, it's not, the bell isn't going off in your head that, like, hey, this might be a problem, or this isn't really how I want my business to look or feel, or I'm running my business, or I'm building my lifestyle for my business rather than my business for my lifestyle, then maybe you should reach out. Go to superjoepardo.com. We can work together. But these clear action steps is where it's at.
I want to be able to walk in there and feel that you actually look a little organized. I suggest you get going, sir.
And he'll feel better about the place in which he's running if that place starts to look better, feel better. Just like how if you dress better, you'll exuberate the better feelingness
Has the
to
desire
others.
and the drive to do the job, and a little bit of constructive criticism is more than welcome, as far as I'm concerned.
What we want to start doing is taking down all the old signs. I would say anything regarding St. Patrick's Day, the Christmas tree lights. If it's not bolted down, let's clean it up and take it out.
Let's put up or shut up at this point. I'd like to rise to the occasion. So if anybody counted me out at this point, they would be premature.
So St. Patty's Day. So St. Patty's Day is in the middle of March. The sign out front that talks about Kid Koala is for May. So it's like April, and they still have their St. Patty's Day stuff up.
What's up? It's Tom at the Abbey. How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
We wanted to have you guys, if you guys are available, to play on Monday night.
It's going to be difficult. The most difficult thing he's ever going to do. And he'll have to really change some things to make it happen. That's the bottom line.
With Tom starting to prove that he has what it takes to be the Abbey's general manager, Diageo Master of Whiskey Peter O'Connor begins training the bar staff on some new whiskey-based cocktails, perfect for the rock and roll crowd.
I think it's really important that that Tom's doing it. He doesn't have anybody standing over him, right? Being that self-motivator. I mean, obviously, if he's an electrician, if he had his own electrician business, I don't know if he didn't say if he worked for somebody else or he had his own business, but if he had his own business, then he doesn't necessarily need somebody else to stand over him. And it's so awesome to see him bring his staff over and be like, look, we're going to get this cleaned up and stuff taken down and give them clear direction. So, obviously, he can do it.
Essential that the Abbey sell premium drinks with high profit margins if the pub is going to make some real money.
This cocktail is actually a cocktail I created. It's called Bushmills G on G. 4 lime wedges. Now, again, depending on how much ginger you like, you can put one. One is enough for a normal person. Fill it up with ice. Straight in, over the ice. Give it a good hard shake. You're just layering on top. You 3 guys there, just taste it, and then...
Oh, it's really good. Yeah, that's my new favorite cocktail.
Your new favorite cocktail, that's good. Does anyone know how this glass, the shape of it came around?
Marie Antoinette.
Go on.
It's supposedly the shape of her breasts.
That's one of the only glasses when you drink, you never lose eye contact with the person you're looking at.
Chef Brian Duffy presents the updated menu items to the staff of the Abbey.
This is the new Abbey burger. So it's just a burger with a fried egg. Change the lettuce around a little bit. We change the seasoning, so it's got a little bit of a different flavor to it than what we had before. Nachos. How many people have nacho with a potato chip? Put cheese on top of it. Then we put some really nice chicken. The chicken is a $3 upcharge. Good products, simple ingredients, make great flavor.
Okay, taste some of these food items, but guys, I want to see food on the tables tonight.
I got a chance to try out the chicken nachos here, and they're delicious. It's really good.
Now that the new food and drink menus are in place, John will bring customers in for a soft opening. John must see how the Abbey staff, and most importantly, how Tom deals with the rush of customers on the pub side.
3 minutes, let's get ready. I'm going to fill the bar with about 100 customers, and we're going to let the staff do their thing.
Customers pour into the bar,
How are ya?
and the orders start to roll in.
Tonight we're doing a Bushmills G&G.
The waitresses push the new items on the food menu.
For our new menu, probably my favorite are the nachos, especially with the chicken on there.
The flood of food orders has put unfamiliar pressure on the kitchen staff, and they're quickly falling behind.
I need a nacho on the fly. No meat, guys, please. I see some activity back here.
Well, the kitchen is not doing so well. Greg seems to be barely holding his own. The pressure's on.
It's been a long time since the pub.
But they're doing, but he's, but they're still doing it. And 100 people all at once is a lot, especially when they're literally all piling at once. It's not like somewhat of a staggered, ramp up kind of thing. But and I think it's also it seemed like they have more menu items than they do in other stress tests. But maybe because this chef actually has experience.
And while the bartenders are doing well selling the new drinks, they quickly encounter their first problem.
We have no glasses, so we're scrambling.
There's no glassware at the bar, guys. Let's get some out there, whatever you can.
Wow.
We're screwed.
The bartenders are doing busy work rather than selling drinks.
I mean, that should have been a quick, they should have already been able to figure that out. If you have 100 people coming in, how much glassware do you have? That's something you should probably know.
Sales because of this.
Trouble keeps mounting for Tom. The kitchen staff is struggling with the surge of orders.
How we run on ticket times?
Right now we're about 19 and a half on this one.
Okay, so about 6
Oh.
over.
And to make matters worse, the bar runs out of clean plates.
You guys don't give me plates, you're not going to get food.
Run that dish machine, play bar back, get us caught up. Tom, you got to get ahead of it.
Tom is trying to keep up. He's doing a lot better.
I mean,
than he's done
clearly they
before.
don't have
It's just
enough.
a long way to go. But I am a little encouraged.
I've never seen Tom work this hard. If he keeps this up, I might stand corrected that he can handle this job.
I think you will.
Despite
I think you'll be eating those words there,
the Abbey's
Pat.
new food and drink menus are a big hit with the customers.
Oh my God, how about these chips?
Unfortunately, they're not the only ones enjoying the new food menu.
You just take some food and start eating in the middle of a shift? As I was walking through the bar, I saw one of our servers eating food in the middle of a shift. If a customer sat down at your table, you wouldn't
Shift. This is like an hour like soft open launch thing. Like what?
known it. Have you punched out? It's a simple question. Did you punch out?
I was not working for 2 seconds. He turned around, saw me take a bite, and started yelling at me.
Male server, what's his name? Peter. Peter, sitting in the back room eating food in the middle of the shift. It's time that they understand that you're serious. This is the moment of truth.
And again, that goes back to the whole culture thing, right? Like if you're not serious, they're not serious. Well, I've seen the owner eating at the bar before. Maybe that culture is still okay. You know, maybe it's okay. Obviously, they've never seen Bar Rescue because it didn't exist yet, you know, on the airwaves. So, airwaves, is that a thing that people still say? But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like this is about your culture and the example that you set, and as a leader, setting that example and leading with it.
To be a manager or not? We gotta talk.
While the pub side of the kitchen are barely
Plate up.
adding to the chaos, Peter, a server, lunch of the night.
Went back there, you're eating, you didn't have to get punched out, you were trying to get 17?
No, what happened was I cleaned up my whole section and everything, and then he started yelling at me about eating, and I walked away.
The facts are out there. You know, John described it to me, and if he's a weak link, they have to go. I have to let you go right now.
Seriously, you guys are letting me go with this?
I understand your frustration. I really do, okay? But as of right now, I'm going to have to let you go. This is what has to be done to get to where I have to go.
After their busiest night in over 3 years, John gathers the staff to discuss their performance.
Now, we had some problems tonight. Food can come out a little quicker, we can run things a little quicker, and we had one bad problem tonight. Peter doesn't work here anymore. It's an unfortunate thing, but it had to happen. So, get some rest, because you're going to need a lot of energy Monday night, okay?
Here, here.
Have a great night. We'll see you Monday.
With the reopening of the Abbey just...
What was the? Oh wait. I wanted. What was the date? It says 85, Blockhead 20.
With the reopening of the Abbey just 36 hours away, John meets with his team of designers to transform the bar's old dirty look into a modern rock and roll venue that can once again be one of Chicago's greatest bars.
When I came here, the Abbey was a totally disorganized business. The rock and roll venue had nothing to do with the pub. I had to come up with a concept that made our pub fit rock and roll, and I think we did it. Are you guys ready to see your new bar? Yes! 1, 2, 3.
Mary and Joseph, I am getting premature hot flashes. I am so excited.
We put the guitars on the outside of the building, and what do you think of that bright red patio furniture? Those are from my friends at Modern Line Furniture. Now with the people sitting there before a show, we're happening. The Abbey is all about rock and roll, right? But when I got here 5 days ago, the pub didn't have much of an identity, candidly. The pub had to have its own identity, but still be part of the Abbey. So we created a whole new brand, the Green Room at the Abbey. They both say rock and roll, but they're different experiences. You go to the Abbey for a show, you go to the Green Room for a drink or a burger.
I thought Green Room at the Abbey was very clever. I like the concept.
You guys ready to come inside?
That's great.
So go ahead, go look at your new bar.
She's right. That's great.
If you take a look on the walls, those guitars are from Fender and DBZ Guitars, who gave us those. It's like a whole different place. I mean, it's your new bar. Then the Autograph guys gave us a signed Van Halen guitar.
That's Van Halen. Wow.
Oh, well, I wonder where that guitar is right now. That's awesome.
Gave us a signed Van Halen guitar.
That's Van Halen. Wow.
It looks like rock and roll, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
What we did is I called Chicago booth manufacturers. We got some booths put in to create a little more intimacy. This is the kind of place you sit for a few hours, have some food, and really enjoy yourself. They look great.
That's awesome.
The fridge is gone.
Remember the old convenience store refrigerator? So we put this simple shelving unit in, and these are our premium products. They're center stage, and when the lights come down at night, where are your eyes gonna go? Right there. But more importantly, we put a reach-down beer cooler in here, and we created a real second bar station here. And it's functional. Let's take a look at the new Abbey menus. Rock and roll inspired. Look at some of the great items on here that we
They got an actual menu like that. makes such a such a
Calibrated
difference.
and repaired all the refrigeration, so everything is within code. Tom, rip that out of order sign off that door. You don't need it anymore. All your refrigeration is right on the money.
Thank you very much. Very cool.
Alrighty, let's keep moving.
Well, they
Now
kept
that John has revealed the amazing transformation of the pub side into
They
the
kept the
green
same
room, he takes
refrigerator.
everyone into the music venue for one final surprise.
But at least it worked.
This was a big job. We redid the entire floor. Look at the difference it makes. It lights up the entire room.
Very
Makes the
nice.
place look new, but it's still the Abbey.
I never
Very
thought
nice.
that this floor would ever look like this again. Thank you.
So we
I think she's like the one that's really pulling the strings. I think she's the one that really loved the bar. That's probably why they never got rid of the bar. If I had to guess.
Better sound, a far better environment. It's much lighter. And take a look behind you. That's a turbo chill device. That chills a keg of beer in a matter of minutes. And draft beer is more profitable than bottled beer, and we can put it anywhere, like a second bar to maximize our revenues. Now we got to get the people from the concert into the green room. How do we do it? We set you up with the Abbey sticker. Wow. On the back of it, it says, take this sticker next door and get a free appetizer with any purchase of a beverage. This simple sticker will get people to go from the concert side over to the pub and order a cocktail after the show. We got a lot to do. Go to work. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, as long as the appetizer is priced
John has
right.
transformed the Abbey from a dingy, dirty bar into a true rock and roll hangout, maintaining
That's
the
awesome.
history of the Abbey while enticing customers to spend more money on food and drinks. It's time for John to hand over the keys to Tom and the Looney family and reintroduce the new Abbey to Chicago.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Countdown. 2 minutes.
Let's turn this place into a money machine, okay? Now it's time to unlock the doors and let the public in. This is the moment we've all been waiting for.
I'm Bridget Clooney, and I'd like to welcome you all to the green room. Hope you have a good time, everybody.
My favorite out of these is the Bushmilk candy. There's tons of customers that need your help.
All right, who's next? Hey, just shout him out. Tom is taking care of business. He's on it. He's staying ahead of it. He's being a manager. Excellent. You're keeping up, guys.
I'm really proud of you, Tom. You're really becoming a good manager, man.
Okay, go take you. Thanks, buddy.
I think there was a lot of questions about whether I could handle this or not, and now I know that I can tackle anything that comes up.
All the sciences are working. The liquor displays worked. We're selling really expensive spirits, and the science of moving people from one side of the building really paid off.
At the end of the night, the band that Tom booked for the reopening plays to a packed house of happy, paying customers.
My son was put to the test tonight, and I think he stepped up, and he's done the job. I believe that we do have a new leader.
As far as my brother goes, running this place, I think he's come a long way in a short period of time. He seems to have listened to a lot of what John had to say. So if he can stay focused, I think he can do a good job.
You know, I got to tell you guys, it was a pleasure, and I mean this very much, to get to know you and your family. And you made me really proud the past couple of days.
Thank you very much.
When I got here, I thought this would be a tough one. I'm going home tonight feeling pretty good about it. Tom stepped to the plate. It's a great family. They're going to support him. The bar worked terrific, and the customers are thrilled. My work is done.
Yeah, as long as you keep the marketing going and keeping people going in. So an increase of 20% in sales. I mean, that's great. Hopefully it continues. So doing an update here, looking into what's happened. It looks like there was a fire about 4 years ago. Well, at this point, because of COVID, it was like 5-6 years ago. And it said it was going to be reopening under with a new name and ownership. But from what I could tell, it looks like it's permanently closed. So I don't know if maybe they renamed it. But yeah, so it looks like there was a fire, and then they're hoping that they were able to. We asked for $500,000. They offered $250,000. It wasn't enough to reopen. Then they offered $300,000. While we're still negotiating, Looney said the landlord terminated the Looney's lease on the space in March of 2017. Yeah, well, I mean, probably because they wanted it to be open. They wanted somebody that could afford to pay. So I think it's great that they were. Oh, did they do a? Maybe they went back to it. I don't know. I'll have to follow up on that and see if they went back to the Abbey in season 5. It looks like they might have. So looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to having you smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and so we can get it in front of more entrepreneurs like yourself, more super entrepreneurs like yourself. If you will have something to say to me, it's at Super Joe Pardo on all social media. If you want to learn how you can work with me, reach out over at superjoepardo.com. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.